Hello everybody, it's Sephiroth Level 4 for another Top 13 for Collab Camrupt. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 13 Pokemon that I will never like. This list is the Pokemon that I just, for some reason or another, despise beyond all belief, or just despise. There's a few Pokemon there that almost weren't on the list, but the rules for this is that I'm not going to be putting Mega Pokemon because that's another list I'm going to be doing, and only one Pokemon per family, so no evolutions of each other. Anyway, let's get it started with number 13. Number 13 is Milotic. Now, Milotic is number 13 on the list because I used to like it. I thought that this Pokemon was tanky. It's definitely beautiful. It's gonna be on other lists that I have because I don't want to hate it, but I do, and that's because of Ruby and Sapphire verses that I did on the Sephiroth channel, and Milotic was it scarred me. It scarred me for life, and if you want to see what I'm talking about, go check the verses out. Shameless plug. That's why it's my number 13. Number 12. Number 12 is the Pokemon Chespin. Now, Chespin, Quilladin, and Chestnut really are all on the list. Though Chespin I would pick as the one that I hate the most. Once again, this Pokemon is, I guess, I don't despise him, which is why he's lower on the list, but for some reason I just really don't like it. I don't know why. Quilladin I think looks really stupid, and Chespin I just find annoying. There's not a single usage of him that I've seen that hasn't been annoying, and just either fighting it or seeing its representation in Smash Bros and things like that. I don't know. In Smash Bros, Chespin's just like Tepig. If you listen to it, it says Tepig. It does not say Chespin. But anyway, that is why he's my number 12. I just don't like him. Number 11. Number 11 is the Pokemon Combusken. Combusken is also lower on the list because I kind of like Torchic, and Blaziken isn't that bad. But I despise Combusken for two reasons. Number one is its typing. It's a fire fighting type, and that was always a sore point to me, because first of all, I think it's a stupid type combination. I don't think it works very well for as a starter Pokemon, but I also just don't like the trend that it's set, that like everything afterwards for the next 3 gens, or 2 gens, were firefighting starters, and it started here, but Combusken also just looks stupid. I'm sure if you take a close look, you can see what it resembles, and I don't know how it got past Nintendo that way, but it's, I just hate it. It looks stupid. Its typing makes me upset, and that's why it's at number 11. Number 10. Number 10 is Ambipom. I don't know what to say about this Pokemon. I'm sure that it has some battle usage or something, but I think it's one of the dumbest looking Pokemon ever created. Gen 4 had some really, really weird ideas of how to evolve Pokemon. You had stuff like Licky Licky also that just looked weird, but Licky Licky I like, but I just think it looks funny. It's opposed to weird as opposed to funny. There's a big difference, and Ambipom is just, why did they gave it a second tail, and now its face is just like stupid looking. Apom was cute. This one just looks like a freak of nature, and I can't find anything good to think about it, and that's why it's at number 10. Number 9. Number 9 is another gen Pokemon, Magmortar. It's a big egg with a duck face and cannon arms. Look, it's a big egg. Look at its body. It's an egg. What is it? Like, I mean, Magby looked bad enough, and Magmar was kind of weird. Very weird. But then Magmortar happened, and I don't know where they went with it. What did they think that it looked cool this way? Did they think that, like, I'm sure it has good stats. I think it's an attacker or special attacker. It and Electivire have their things, but I will never use it. I've used Electivire. Electivire is awesome, but I will never use a Magmortar because nobody who respects themselves would be caught dead with a Pokemon that looks like that, and I can't look at it. That's why it's number 9. Number 8. Number 8 is the Pokemon Archaeopteryx. Now, Archaeopteryx I don't hate because of its look, although it's kind of derpy. I kind of look like the Archaeopteryx. It's based on a dinosaur. I mean, that's why it's a fossil Pokemon. Archaeopteryx I hate because it has potential and it completely blows it because of its ability. Defeatist. Obviously, Argent is on the list too, but they have good attack and good speed, but Defeatist just ruins it entirely, and it's really sad because it could have been a good Pokemon, but for some reason or another, the people at the Pokemon Company decide to say, hey, here's a rare Pokemon that you can only get from a fossil. Let's make it stink! And that's why I'm never going to use it, I'm never going to like it. Number 7. Number 7 gets into a sore point for me, which I have talked about extensively in my other top 13 videos, the Pokemon Spritzee. I don't like fairy types. I don't like fairy types. There's so few. I mean, there was a few that I was going to put on the list, but I decided against it. I didn't put Sylveon. Carbink is cute. Klefki is part steel, so that redeems it. The guys that were retconned as fairies almost made it, but I like them more, so they didn't. But Spritzee, God, what the heck is it? I mean, Aromatisse also. Aromatisse is a freak of nature, but I chose Spritzee over Aromatisse. And I don't know why I did that, but both of them are horrible, and it's bad. It's really bad, and the way it looks, and the fact that it's a fairy, but the way it looks just makes me upset. And I haven't seen it used well in battle. I'm sure once again that it might have some use, or Aromatisse might have some use, but as I've been going on with, I'm not judging it based on how good it is in battle, unless it's really good in battle, but it's just really bad, and that's why it's at number 7. Number 6. Number 6 is another fairy type from Gen 6, Flabébé. Now I didn't want to choose Floette because there's AZ's Floette and it's kind of cool, and I didn't choose Florges because Flabébé looks stupider. First of all, Flabébé should have been Fairy Grass. That's a starting point with that, but also I think it just embodies what's wrong with fairy types. It looks dumb, it's weak. The only redeeming factor is that it comes in different colors, which is neat, but that makes it so much harder to find and catch, and then you have to evolve them all to get all the other types, and it becomes a hassle. And when I first saw Flabébé as it's really the representation of the new fairy type, and it showed me, hey, this is not going to be a type that you're going to enjoy. Florges can be strong, but Flabébé is it looks so bad, and I didn't even want to bother catching it when I played X and Y for the first time. And this is coming from someone who tries to 100% all their games. It's just a Pokemon that made me completely give up on liking the fairy type in any way, shape, or form. And that's why it's at number 6. Number 5. Number 5 is a Pokemon that probably the first one on the list that anyone would agree with me, maybe aside from Combusken, and that's the Pokemon Zubat. I don't think there's anyone who actually likes Zubat. It's not higher up. I mean, it's at number 5, but it's not higher up on the list because Crobat can be pretty good if you if you work with it and give it time and actually get it to be a Crobat in the first place. But Zubat's terrible. Zubat is I would say the most infamous Pokemon just because you're walking through a cave and every 5 steps, Zubats all over your face everywhere, and they're weak, but they're fast, so they usually get in like a Leech Life or a Confuse Ray depending on their level, and they just keep on sapping away at you and wasting your turns, and Flying Poison is actually a nice type combination for resistance. I mean, I guess if you have Psychic or Electric, Rock, I guess that's something, but there's a lot of types that, especially when you start off games with, where you seem to run into Zubats like earlier on in a lot of the games where you're just not super effective, so these battles can just take forever, and it can increase your time through the caves by hours. And I know I speak from experience when I say Zubat is the most annoying Pokemon. It's not my most hated Pokemon, but it's definitely the most annoying Pokemon to me. But maybe that's a list for another time, but that's why it's at number 5. Number 4. Number 4 is Bidoof. I don't like Bidoof at all. It's stupid. It's doofy, which is why it has the name. Its sound is weird. It's like doo-doo! And I didn't put Bibarel on here because Bibarel, with its part water, type, does give it some ability to be an HM slave. But Bidoof, I find it's stupid. It's also one of those Pokemon that you just keep running into endlessly, and its stats are horrible in my opinion, and it's just not a fun Pokemon to raise. I didn't try to raise it because it looks really dumb, but I really just don't think as someone starting off the Gen 4 games, that's really not the type of Pokemon that you want to start your game off with. It's not cute. It's not a Rattata, it's not a Poochyena or a Sentret or any of those starter, normal, dark, whatever types. It's just annoying, and it's stupid, and there's too many of them, and that's why it's number 4. Number 3. Number 3 is Prinplup. I chose Prinplup over Piplup or Empoleon, despite the fact that I despise all of them. First of all, the typing, just the family typing water and then water steel, I think is terrible. I guess it does get rid of the fire weakness for steel, but I think that it's just a bad combination. Empoleon looks like it should be good, but I've never seen it used well. Maybe I'm just not playing the game right, but Prinplup is just so stupid. I mean, the games in general, the middle evolution of the starters always seems to have something wrong with it generally. Although, I don't know, as you started off, I think Charmeleon, Ivysaur, Wartortle, they all looked cool. Croconaw is, I don't know, it looks like he belongs in the Flintstones, and etc, etc. Like, some of the middle evolutions look stupid, and Prinplup is definitely the stupidest looking one. And I tried using a Piplup once, and it was just terrible. It was terrible. It was like the worst water starter that I had ever tried, and that makes me sad because water is like one of my favorite types in the game. I always choose the water starter, except for Gen 4. Gen 4, I went to Turtwig because I don't think I would have been able to survive looking at the Piplup family throughout the entire game. That's just not something I was looking forward to, and that's why it's my number 3. Number 2. Number 2 is Combi. Once again, Gen 4 rears its head. I don't know what it is with Gen 4 that they just... it's bad, but Gen 4 and Gen 6 just have the most Pokemon I despise, I guess. Combi is a lie. First of all, if you get a male Combi, it's useless. It's utterly useless. Its moves stink, it can't evolve, and it just looks... It's a beehive, literal honeycombs with smiley faces. What is up with that? And if you're lucky enough to get a female Combi, then it turns into a Vespiquen, and Vespiquen isn't that great either. It has some cool attacks that are exclusive to it, attack order and defense order, whatever. But it stinks regardless. It's not worth your time. And I spent a lot of time. Diamond was the first Pokemon game I actually 100%ed without using cheats or Game Shark or whatever, like I did on Red and Blue. But Diamond, I got 100%, and I probably depleted the entire male Combi population before I actually ran into a female Combi. I don't know if you guys have had the same problem, but female Combi is the rarest Pokemon I have ever tried to catch. Aside from obviously Pokemon that only appear once or whatever. But I never found it. It was worse than the gold and silver Pokemon that you can only get during swarms, you know, Dunsparce, Marill, etc. I couldn't find female Combis, and I spent hours and days and weeks trying to find the stupid female Combi. And once I actually got it, it was useless still. It evolved and it still sank. It wasn't worth it at all. And that's why it's my number 2. I will never, ever like Combi. And I will spend my life hating it forever, no matter what. But finally, number 1. Number 1 is Diggersby. If you know me, you saw this coming, John. Diggersby is the worst Pokemon ever created, bar none. Sure, it may have a type, you know, the typing and the attacks might be useful in some way, shape, or form, but it is the stupidest Pokemon I have ever seen. This Pokemon, with its hand ears and its just look like it's high. It's, as I've said in the past, it looks like the Nesquik bunny's creepy uncle. This is a Pokemon that just looks like it stumbled out of, you know, a bar or some other seedy establishment, drunk and covered in God knows what, and just goes around, hi, how you doing? Wow, you want me to dig you a hole or something? And I can't like this Pokemon. I hate it more than fairy types, and I hate it more than Combi, and that's saying something. It's bordering on irrational hatred, and there's a special pit in my stomach where I just store a giant ball of hatred for this Pokemon, where I will never love it, and it's just, you look at it and you say, this is where Pokemon has come. We went from an era of you know, Charizards and Blastoises and all sorts of cool things in first gen, and this is where the Pokemon Company has brought us in Gen 6. A drunk, homeless, hobo rabbit. Good job, Pokemon Company. Good job. I will never ever love Diggersby. Anyway, that's my list. Tell me what you agree or disagree with. Tell me which Pokemon you will never like. Doesn't have to be the top 13. It could just be the top 5, top 1, top 2, top 75. Whatever you hate, let me know. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Tune in a couple of weeks for my next top 13 video, and check out the other awesome people on Collab Camera. It's been Sephiroth 1204, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.